Sorry, I was like, oh shit. There seems to be things around.
Good morning and good afternoon, and welcome to the Granite Curling Club in Edmonton for Draw 6 of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. My name is Kevin Jesus, joined by Matt Patrick. Matt, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
A little tired.
Same.
We can think, we can hear each other.
There's an absence of noise in the background.
Yeah,
it's
there's no
great.
karaoke tonight, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Or this morning anyway. So yes, for our viewers tuning in from Saskatchewan, good morning, and if you're in Halifax, good afternoon. It is Draw 6, and we've got quite the game for you today as Regina takes on Halifax 1 in our featured game. We're also streaming St. John's and Ottawa over on Sheet B. You can watch that game without commentary. So let's take a look at the pool standings. We'll start with Pool B because that's
Pool
the
B
game
has-
that we're paying attention to.
Pool B, big implications in this game. Regina sitting at a nice cushy 4-1 here. A win here would almost surely punch a ticket to Sunday morning tomorrow for them. Unfortunately for Halifax, they're sitting at a 3-2, and the way the standings are sitting, 3 losses might not keep you in the race here. So a must win for Halifax this morning.
Well, so we kind of talked about that all throughout this event is, you know, with the round robin format that we tried this year, there was a lot more room for error at the beginning of it, but now we're at the situation where there really is no room for error for some teams, specifically for Halifax 1, because here's how it plays down. Calgary 2 and Regina sitting in the top 2 spots at 4-1. Again, the top 2 teams in each pool will advance to Sunday's semifinals. Then it is a big log jam for that 3rd spot. Toronto 2, Halifax 1, Edmonton 1, all at 3-2. And then the back half of that pool, Saskatoon 1 at 2-3, Vancouver 1-4, Montreal 0-5. Those 3 teams, they're done.
Yeah, they're pretty much out of it at this point for sure. It's just where that logjam ends up and what happens between Calgary 2 this morning, and they're playing Vancouver and Regina and Halifax 1 here. Toronto 2 also playing, I believe, Edmonton 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So we'll be keeping an eye on that because, again, those 2 teams are also in the hunt with a 3-2 record. In order to try to stay alive, they both of them need to win, and unfortunately, that is literally impossible. So one of their teams,
one of them will get that 4th win, which will be
keep their
big.
dream alive, and one of them will have their tournament likely end here. So.
Over in Pool A, Saskatoon 2, the only undefeated team here at the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. They're 5-0. Ottawa sitting in second at 4-1. Then Calgary 1, Toronto 1, both tied at 3-2. Again, Toronto 1, the 2-time defending champions coming into this. Winnipeg at 2-3, Edmonton 2 at 2-3, then Halifax 2, 1-4, and St. John's also winless at 0-5. The first end of this game brought to you in part by Fruit Loop. We thank them very much for their support.
I just want to talk about yesterday. Since we got cut off quite early, and for people who may not have continued on the stream, big upset happened. Toronto 1, the defending champs, lost to 0-4 at the 0-4 at the time. Halifax 2. So Toronto sitting at that 3-2 record now, looking on the outside in rather than being top of the standings with Saskatoon 2 or Ottawa sitting there.
Yeah.
So interesting course of events, and who knows what could happen today. And you would think that Saskatoon 2 being at 5-0 would clinch them a spot on Sunday morning, but based on the schedule, there's still a chance for some tiebreakers to happen and those draw to the buttons to come into effect here.
For those of you, just tuning in, you might see the name Regina on here, obviously. Well, this is their first time at the Canadian Pride Curling Championship. Hi. What's going on? Hold on one sec. We're just going to talk to the co-organizers. That's the pleasure of it. When we're the co-organizing, we also have to figure things out on the fly as well. So where are we at here on sheet C?
It looks like just a standard first end setup. We're in second rocks, third rocks, somewhere around there. I see 2 yellow, 3 yellow there, and 3 red for sure. So we're probably in seconds if I'm not mistaken. Here, yeah, Bailey Ross throwing his second shot there, so definitely in seconds.
Gotcha.
For sure. So.
As I was saying, Regina, first time competing at the Canadian Pride Curling Championships, and what a start for them. Over looking great. They're 4-1. They got off to a hot start, 2-0 start. Their only loss was to Calgary 2, where they lost 11-10. Like, that was such a wild game.
That was a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they've been playing really well this week. See if they can keep it up against Halifax 1 here. A must-win for both teams. Regina putting themselves at 5-1. Very high chance of punching a ticket through to tomorrow. Again, Halifax a must-win to keep your dream alive of making it to tomorrow. Looks like they're setting up for some points in the first end, which is kind of nice.
Well, that's always exciting.
It's still a little early.
No
so
one wants
we
blanks, especially at this hour of the day.
Right?
I mean, it's early for us. It's 11 in the morning here.
Right? And some of us just woke up a couple hours ago.
It's 2 in the afternoon over in Halifax, so.
Yeah, they're roaring to go and ready to watch their team. So, yeah. I wonder how tired all these players are this morning. I know I'm a little sore and tired from my 3 games yesterday. I can't imagine these people.
So that's been the thing, right? With this new experimental format, it is round robin instead of the double knockout format. So you do have 7 games being played between Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which meant 3 games played yesterday. So it was a lot. In fact, the Saskatoon 2 game against Winnipeg, that game started just after 9:30. It didn't end until just after midnight. Like, it was a very long day, but it does make for really entertaining event. You know, you're really starting to see the teams that are vying for that gold medal. It makes it pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But it is a grind. It is a mental and physical grind. You know, I've seen some players that are definitely hurting. We've seen some players who are tired, but
maybe a good
cream
night's
rises
rest.
to the top, right?
Maybe a good night's rest, even though curling at 11 this morning. You sleep in a little bit this morning instead of being up at 7. You get up at 8, start doing your morning routine, and you're as fresh as you can be to go here.
And it's a shorter night tonight, so they've got the game here at 11, and then I believe the next game's at 4:30. I'd have to, we'd have to take a look. And then it's just a banquet tonight, and then the semifinals get started tomorrow morning. Yeah. So, you know, you'll have that chance to enjoy, celebrate a little bit, and relax.
For the teams moving on, they get some much-needed rest to make sure that tomorrow's the best day they can have for their potential 2 games. The teams going to vie for the championship are going to want to be playing both games. I believe, is there a B final or a bronze medal game?
There will be a bronze medal.
So both teams are playing 2 games.
Yeah, regardless of what happens.
Exactly.
The top 2 teams in each pool will be guaranteed 2 more games on Sunday, and some good prize money too. Yeah. So that's pretty exciting.
So
we talked about that we weren't going to see a blank.
I know, right? I know, I jinxed it.
The Jesus jinx.
My fault, yeah.
This time it's the Matt jinx.
Right, so. Exactly. But it'll be interesting to see how the conditions for Sheet C fare out with a good night of freeze. However, though, I noticed in my truck on the way here, it was a nice balmy 7 degrees already. So that'll definitely play into the ice here. I mean, we saw it at the Briar this year. I'm pretty sure we also saw it at the Scotties, where the outside temperature was so warm that they were figuring out how different ways of cooling the ice down, because there was a lot of things happening on the ice that the curlers couldn't control. So we'll see how that factors in and who can adapt to it. Again, you're going to win this by adapting to the ice. It's never going to be perfect with warm temperatures like this outside. So if you can learn to adapt, you can learn to read the ice, you'll go far.
So it was a nice draw in behind the guard by the third, Nathan Murray. So Nathan Murray was the skip, and then they've flip-flopped here. So Dustin Kidby will be the skip for this game for Regina. We are getting to skip stones here. So Corey Oickle the skip for Halifax. We're going to say nice things because his mom's sitting next to us.
Yeah.
But we do know that Corey is a big Harry Potter fan.
Okay.
Has a cat named Draco.
Of course he does.
Of course he does.
Of course he does.
Of course he does. It's fantastic. And I think the coolest fact about this, I caught up with him on Wednesday when they first arrived, and I was chatting with him, and he informed me that he's a world champion. And I was like, oh, really? A world champion curler? He's like, no, world champion in dodgeball.
That's awesome.
I know, it's fantastic. He was
awesome.
in Hong Kong
right?
as a player. He also was at Worlds in Austria as well, so as a coach. So
that's pretty amazing.
I
mean,
who knew that dodgeball
world
had world
championship there?
championships?
Maybe curling, Pride curling champion here. Like you never know, that might happen.
Let's
add that to the resume.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Why not? Let's see what happens. And I mean, for Halifax one, they really want to get this win here to keep their hopes alive.
Seems like it's curling a lot there for him. I think he wants to be on top of the yellow anyways. For Regina's there,
which makes sense because then you're kind of like forcing them to.
Exactly.
But you got to get it out.
Oh, I think it's
biting.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a problem.
That's going to be a problem. Regina,
now you just hit it, you split the house.
Exactly.
And then you're going to have an opportunity to score your 2.
Yeah, since you have hammer, you're happy about that. And you just take your 2 points and move on.
So Dustin Kidby, the skip for Regina here today. He is a World Junior champion, winning in 2005 with Saskatchewan. He actually won bronze at the 2020 and 2021 Brier with Matt Dunstone. They lost to Brad Gushu of Newfoundland and Brendan Botcher with Alberta. And his cousin, Ben Hebert.
Oh, well, Ben's having a good time over in Moose Jaw this weekend, playing in they finished number 1 in the semifinals later today.
Yeah, who are they playing? Is it?
They don't know yet. It's depending on the games
out.
that are going on right now.
So we'll keep an eye on that.
We'll keep an eye on that. We'll update the viewers if they're not watching the Worlds.
Oh, look at this. Did he?
Oh.
I think he just biffed it.
Oh, big miss by Regina there, just outside of the hit for him. So, chance for Halifax here to
an uncharacteristic miss.
Some defense to force Regina to maybe a single.
Yeah.
I think they're taking your advice to split the house. So you could be a skip, Kevin.
Not a chance.
I'm going to tell your husband next year you want to skip.
Yeah. We would kill each other. Like there have been time. There was a time a couple of years ago when we first started curling together that we would drive home in silence because we were just so angry at each other over like what was happening. And he takes it a lot more serious than I do. I'm just like, whatever. I'm just here to have fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I'm here for.
Exactly. Just tell me where you want the rock. I'll put it there. We're good.
It's good. Let's go have some fun. Let's chat with everyone.
Yeah.
Let's do that. So Halifax coming out with their last rock here from their skip and spreading it out like you said earlier.
Again, though, nothing's for sure here with this ice. It's
absolutely
a little
the line
unpredictable
they're playing
there.
here. We watched this ice for enough games now
yesterday
that we've seen this line be a little tricky for the curlers to figure out. So we'll see what he can do here for that.
Well, they've got to sweep this in. You got to get a piece of it.
Uh-oh.
You've got to get a piece of it.
Look, it looked a little light. Is it gonna get?
I feel like you've got it. Just barely.
Just a biter.
Just barely.
Still forces Regina to a single.
You do have that opportunity. Yep. So here's a chance at redemption for Dustin Kidby.
Oh, wait, no, there is a chance for 2.
Yeah, there is a chance for 2.
There's a chance for 2. Yeah.
Absolutely. Final shot of the first end here at the Granite Curling Club in Edmonton. Draw 6 of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Regina 4-1, taking on Halifax 3-2. A chance for 2 for Regina as Dustin Kidby makes the shot. He just missed by like the width of a piece of paper the last time.
Maybe, let's see if he corrected enough. I think it does. It looks much better. Looks dead on.
And redeems himself after that early miss. Gets his 2. Regina takes an early 2-0 lead over Halifax after 1 end. We'll be back in just a few moments. Welcome back to the Granite Curling Club in Edmonton, the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. It is the second end between Regina and Halifax. Regina scored one in the first to take that early 1-0 lead. The second end brought
2-0.
Two. Did I say one?
Yeah.
Did I say one?
Yeah.
It's still early.
Do you need your coffee?
You know what? I didn't have a coffee this morning, so I should grab one, but, you know. Or you can support your favorite curler or team by buying them a drink.
Oh,
what a nice segue, right? This is why they pay me the big bucks. Do they pay me bucks? I don't know. $7.50 for a single, $23 for a pitcher. All you got to do is e-transfer curlingwithpride@gmail.com. That's curlingwithpride@gmail.com. Include the name and the team name in the e-transfer message, and we will be sure to get it to them. The lead, Jamie Turnbull. Jamie and Curly and Corey, they've curled 14 nationals.
Wow. That's
14
crazy.
nationals. That's almost all of them.
That's crazy.
I think there's only been 9. This is the 19th nationals. They've been to almost all of them. That's incredible. So Wiley Vets, Halifax yet to win, but they're trying to get something done here.
Yeah, they're trying. They got a chance still. They're not out of it, so they can do it.
Jamie's sister is listening. Blair, captain of Toronto's PWHL team.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. I actually love the fact that there's the PWHL.
Oh, it's fantastic, and I'm glad when they did their road show out here. Cousin.
You know, we're lucky because all of Halifax's family.
Yeah, we got family beside us to help us out to fact check us.
Checkers.
Yeah,
keeping us honest.
Right, we're gonna make sure that we're doing this right.
Yeah.
But no, it's great to see the PWHL in existence. It's happy. It's good to see when they come across the country. You know, when they were in Edmonton, we had a sold-out Rogers Place here.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I didn't get a chance to go, though. It would have been awesome.
I was busy that weekend. I would have loved to have gone. I can't wait for them to see more, maybe some more expansion teams later on. Maybe we'll get one here out west. That'd be really cool. Maybe get a Western Conference set up or something. So we'll see, but it'll be really interesting to see how that league shakes out, too.
Yeah. Quick scoreboard update to pass along your way. Over on Sheet Beat, that's the other game that we're streaming right now. Ottawa jumps out to an early 4-0 lead over St. John's. That would put Ottawa at 5-1.
Which would be almost a kiss of death for every other team.
100%. Calgary won with a 2-0 lead over Edmonton 2. Again, Calgary won, sitting in third place at 3-2. That put them to 4-2. Again, we're starting to do that mental math a little bit, trying to figure out what's going on.
And Calgary one does play Toronto one later, so that could end up determining a lot, depending on who wins the Toronto one and Edmonton. So who's Toronto one playing? Sorry, Saskatoon 2 game.
And there's still no score there to report just yet. We're still trying to figure that one out. I think Saskatoon 2 is...
Especially with this, if Saskatoon ends up dropping a game here, that could just throw all of these plans into chaos for our statisticians here.
Edmonton won with a 1-0 lead over Toronto 2. And over on Sheet G, it's Winnipeg with a 1-0 lead over Halifax 2. Montreal up 1-0 over Saskatoon 1 over on Sheet H.
Yeah. Regina looking to play a little aggressive here without the hammer. Getting some rocks in behind some guards. Looks like Halifax is just going to peel the guard and open it up for them for a chance to get at the house. So right play for them to make sure that they're in prime position to score as many points as they can here.
Bailey Ross, the second for Halifax. Bonjour, he's a French teacher.
Bonjour.
That's as much as I've got.
Je parle français beaucoup.
There we go.
I'm learning for my job, so
yeah, there you go.
I could really use his expertise right about now. Probably in curling as well.
You're right.
He would help me a significant amount, and just everything else.
He's from the South Shore. I mean, a wealth of information.
Right? Like, we love this. This is great.
Yeah, I will say I've been to Halifax. I was in Halifax last year. Absolutely loved it. Such a fun place. Great environment. It was awesome. No, I had gone down there. I had a conference. So I went down, had fun. It was a lot of fun.
I want to go. I was supposed to go, but the year that the pandemic happened, I was just throwing a trip with a friend, and we couldn't get it. Yeah, we were going to do all the maritime provinces, and I really do want to see them one day.
I've done Halifax, and I've done I'm going to say Newfoundland. Obviously, I've been to St. John's twice, but then while I was there, toured around. Mount Pearl, Bonavista.
Beautiful.
Fantastic, absolutely.
That's a beautiful country over there.
I know not enough people make the trek out there.
No,
they get
east. The farthest east most people go is Montreal or that way. And I'm
Toronto,
like, there's so much
Montreal,
more.
100%.
There's so much more.
And the
out
people
that
are so
way.
friendly.
Right, exactly.
And the seafood, oh my gosh.
Oh my God! If you love seafood, go there.
It is
Even
the
if you
best.
don't love seafood, go
I
there.
know, I know. It
If
is
you want a good
fantastic.
seafood to try, go
I know.
there. Not what we get here in Alberta.
Right? Such a good time here.
We're trying to
So-
just replace their guard, and it looks like Halifax is just trying to do the same thing here. Maybe a bit of a run back this time to try to get something, but
Early-
looks like just a peel.
Early going of the second end here and draw 6. Regina sitting 2, but I mean, still early in this.
Yeah,
in
lots
this
of curling
end.
left this morning here for this game, this afternoon, wherever you're listening. So
A lot of excitement in Regina. The Queen City Curling Club. They just got underway, I think it was last year, and this is their first year here at Nationals. 3 years.
we're getting the fact check on the other
Now-
side here.
I know. I'm going to be like scared to say
Right?
anything
Now-
here. We've
now we're
got
gonna
all
be
the
careful
fact
what we
checkers
say.
everywhere now, right? But no, it's fantastic. I just love seeing how the sport. I mean, the sport of curling has always been so popular in Saskatchewan, but just seeing it within the queer community has been fantastic. At the growth that we've been seeing both in Saskatoon and Regina, and they've been so
everywhere.
successful, right?
Yeah.
Saskatoon's won 2 national championships, and Regina's trying to win it all in their first year. And why not? When you have a couple of guys on your team that have played at the Briar, I mean, that certainly helps.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what they can do on the rest of their run here. I mean, this game's not even close to being over, so who knows what happens. And
Yeah, but I mean, you're starting to get to a point, though, where you start looking at the schedule, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, we're in draw 6. We have one more to go. So if you're Regina, after this game, you've got Montreal in that final draw.
yeah,
Montreal 0-5 right now, although they are in the lead right now. But, I mean, that's a game that, on paper, Regina should win.
Exactly.
So they win that. That puts them at 5-1, regardless of what happens here.
Yeah.
That's putting you in a pretty good spot.
yeah. One loss is almost a guaranteed ticket through. 2 losses kind of puts you at that weird spot of maybe with tiebreakers, but Pool B to me is wide open between 5 teams still. It really depends on a lot of the results from this draw here across the board. So
And, you know, some people like to see the seeding as well when it comes down to the semifinals, you know, like...
are you one,
Because
two?
exactly,
Yeah.
right? But, I mean, really, when it's down to the Final Four, it really doesn't matter.
No.
Because at the end of the day, it's going to be A1 versus B2, B1 versus versus A2. So if it were today,
Right
it would
now.
be Calgary 2 versus Ottawa, Saskatoon 2 versus Regina in the semifinals.
And all Saskatchewan
I know
semifinal,
that
guaranteeing
would-
a Saskatchewan team in the final.
In the final, right? Like, that would be pretty
Good for-
But again,
for the
still
province
a
of
lot
Regina.
can happen. We don't want to get ahead of
Yeah,
ourselves.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, still lots of curling to happen here this morning and this afternoon. Again, all of those will factor into who
Yeah.
makes it in, who doesn't make it in.
By the way, if you are coming down, if you're watching from Edmonton and you're thinking of coming down to the Granite, please do so. And don't forget to buy a 50-50 ticket. Yesterday, the 50-50 went for $1,500, I think it was $1,300 or $1,500.
Yeah. And how close were you, Kevin, to that?
You know, let's not talk about that.
Are we sure? I mean,
As Christopher Huven, who is the lead over for Edmonton 1, gleefully told me if I wasn't so cheap and if I would have spent $40 on a ticket instead of $20,
Yeah, you would've won.
I would have won.
yeah.
Instead,
That $40 would have turned into 13.
exactly. So
1,300
much like
there.
my investments, just not very smart right now.
Right?
So
Halifax looking for something here. I think they're on the guard though, unfortunately. Which I think they were trying to enter the house there with some shots to start moving some rocks out of play. Regina just playing pure defense right here. It's all you need to do.
what do they always say? Defense wins championships.
Exactly. That's why the Oilers haven't won it yet, right?
Well, if it was all offense, we probably would with McDavid and,
Right.
and Drysdale.
Right? Their time's coming. But some good fast curling happening here. Hopefully it continues to be fast curling. Yesterday we were here till past midnight watching
Yeah.
the final draws, and that was some slow
Well, I don't think
curling.
any of these teams want that either, too,
No.
right? Like
They want to be
it's
done
been-
as
it's
fast to
been a
get
drag.
as much rest as they can, right? Especially for those teams that have big games this afternoon. To make sure that they win those and they're in that. I'm
Oh,
slowly
Bruce.
peeking over at the
I know, Bruce
TSN
Mallard
game
up
there,
7-5.
right? It's interesting game there, which you could literally consider this a final with those two teams and the
Of course.
pedigrees they have.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
I think they
Oh.
over curled here.
Yeah,
Not what they
Halifax
were
with a
looking
chance
for.
here.
This is that
To
opportunity.
do something in the house and wreck all of Regina's plans for all these rocks. We're on skip stones now, so definitely do or die time for Halifax here. If you can get them out, you're resetting yourself into a good position. If you miss one or two shots here, it could start that seed of doubt in your mind.
Well, we talk about just the little mistakes. It's the little errors that make such a big difference, and we saw that yesterday with Toronto 1 taking on Halifax 2, where it was little mistakes.
Yep.
On Toronto, just near misses that,
And they kept
cost
compounding on each
Toronto.
other.
And you certainly like Halifax too played really well.
Yeah, fantastic. No, don't want to take anything away from
No,
them.
they played extremely well, but
And like we were talking about this when we weren't on broadcast, since we had to yell at each other anyways. The mental aspect of it, and we had some of the Bonspiel curlers from the Spring Fling Bonspiel talking, and some stuff we were talking about the whole mental aspect of curling, and I definitely think Toronto won yesterday was definitely feeling that. You could see how they were sweeping and how they're letting their stones go. That it was starting in their mind a little bit of, oh, we really need to win this game. And they were just gripping their stick a little too tight, and it was just, everything wasn't flowing right for them.
is it enough to get them both
No.
out? Just one.
Take one
and now
out.
it's in behind
Yeah,
the guard.
yeah. He's not terribly disappointed in that. At least he gets a point out. Even if they do end up giving one here, not all said and done yet. I think if you gave up 2 here, a steal at 2, then you're going to be in the same place Toronto one was yesterday, where you're starting to overthink some things later on in the game. Hopefully they can come back and make a good game out of this. Again, nothing's done until the final stone's thrown, so we got lots of time here for that to happen.
So again, Dustin Kidby, the skip for Regina, throwing his final stone here in the second end.
Just trying to draw in, but you want to make sure that you're
They're just keeping
under.
it clean. The sweepers are just keeping it clean.
It needs to curl because I think they want it over enough to not give them the double opportunity here.
Needs to slow down too.
Yeah, it's
Nice shot, right on the pin.
right on the button. Yeah, and see, curl just enough there, just over the center. So I think a heavy draw is there for a single for Halifax 1 here to pick up a point. Just got to bump that out of there, and you count. So
Well, let's hope the lines are better today than they were yesterday, because
well, I'm assuming that they were watching the line because that's the exact same line that Regina just threw. So we'll see what Halifax can do here to make it work.
over on sheet B, St. John's in trouble, already down 4-0, and 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 in the house there right now. Potential for 5. St. John's does have the hammer, so maybe they'll reduce
You never
that
know.
by-
I've been in that position where I'm sitting 5 and I still come out with 0 points. It's
But
great.
Ottawa could be in cruise control here.
Yeah. Big draw coming in here for Halifax 1. That looks heavy to me.
Well, everything always looks off.
I know,
from up
right?
here,
Yeah,
Like, it's-
we're in the worst seats possible.
Yeah.
It's got a curl though. We're calling for the curl sweep. He's got
It
it.
should. I don't. They might get a little. It's too far out, and it is a steal of 2 for Regina. Heartbreaking for Halifax as Regina takes a 4-0 lead through 2 ends here at draw 6 of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Welcome back to the Granite Curling Club for the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. We're here in the third end, and it was a steal of 2 for Regina as they take a 4-0 lead over Halifax 1. So we're just getting started here. The lead, Mike Armstrong for Regina. Grew up in Lloydminster. Started curling at the age of 7. I was too busy watching Ninja Turtles at 7. I was not. I didn't get into curling actually until I was just starting my broadcasting career. Actually.
Oh wow! I started a bit in junior high. We had curling club after school. I'd do that.
Nice. I wish I did that in.
It was great.
Yeah.
Then I stopped for a couple years, and then in university I was curling with my aunt down at the Avenir in Edmonton in a fun league Friday evenings, which was great. And then I joined curling with Pride 3 years ago. So.
And now you're leaving.
Yeah, now I'm leaving. Maybe I'll be in the Apollo Curling Club next year.
In Calgary, maybe.
Come back up for the November Bonspiel here.
The Icebreaker Bonspiel. Registration now open, by the way.
And ruin some hearts here from the other side.
Yeah, I can't remember if I was talking to you about it or if I was talking to Dean Carlson about it, but Pat Simmons, who was a long time, successful skip in Saskatchewan and Alberta, he's actually the one that introduced me to actually curling.
Yeah.
At the time I was working at Global Saskatoon, and we were the host broadcaster for the Saskatchewan Tankard. And my job, I wasn't doing the broadcasting. It was Warren Woods, who sadly has passed away a few years ago during COVID, and Eugene Hritzik, who represented Saskatchewan at the Brier, I believe, back in the 80s. I was the host. I was the post game host, doing the interviews at the fifth end break and so forth. And it was at one point, Pat comes over to me and says, "So Kev, have you curled or anything?" I'm like, "No, I've never curled. I enjoy watching it, but I've never curled." He goes, "Well, that's going to change." So at the Tankard, he just after one of the last game, he was just like, "Hey, come out onto the ice." And he got me into the hack, and the way he first taught me was he stuck out his broom, and he made me grab onto the broom, and he just pulled me down the ice. He's like, "I just want to teach you just the feel, the motion of how it works, and make sure when you're releasing the rock, you're releasing into a handshake."
What an introduction to curling, right?
By
who could
Pat
ask for
Simmons.
more?
I know, it was fantastic. He's such a class guy. Yeah, that was such a lot of fun. I believe it was either in Humboldt or it was in Balgony. It was one of the two that when that happened. But that was my introduction to it.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, you got the fun introduction. Some of us just got the this is how you do it thing. The spiel every time you go to a bond spiel somewhere where they teach all the new people. That's what I got. So nothing crazy there.
Quick update on the other game that we are streaming over on Sheet B, Ottawa and St. John's. Ottawa with a 7-0 lead over St. John's in the second end. So, I mean, I don't want to
say anything,
but we're Ottawa will almost certainly move to 5-1. As
barring
St. John's,
any sort of miracle by St. John's.
Yeah, they will move to 5-1. St. John's will drop to 0-6. So that almost certainly books Ottawa their spot in Sunday's semifinals.
Pool A looking a little more defined than Pool B. We were talking a little bit off air about the games at hand. The other big game for Pool B here is Toronto 2, Edmonton 1. Assuming everything goes the way they're going on paper right now, with Calgary 2 also potentially winning against Vancouver. We don't know. We don't have a score in that one yet. We're still waiting. It looks like they're going to be doing a measure for this end. Some only scored points this time because they didn't score 14 in the first. So.
The measure's happening here between Calgary 2, Vancouver.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. If Calgary and Regina move up, it'll eliminate Halifax 1 losing this game against Regina, and then the winner of Edmonton 1 and Toronto 2 will keep their slim dreams alive, and the other will be eliminated, it seems. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. Don't you love a good measure, Kevin? We always my team always loves it. We're so excited when it happens because it doesn't happen often.
Right.
We're like, yeah, this is great. This is a fun time. So
the only thing is you need that person standing there to make the dramatic point.
Right.
The dramatic point that it's going to count, right?
Love it in the Curling Canada events when they do that. It's just fantastic. This is a hard measure because it's way on the outside. Always the more sketchy ones.
See, no one had the dramatic point, but I think,
but
I
they
think
moved the
pointed
rock
to
in.
it.
Yeah, they helped us. So Red at least got one.
So Calgary 2 takes a lead here in the second end.
We don't know how much though.
We don't. Well,
because I'm
at
assuming
least
there
one.
was more than that.
At least one. Well,
I'm
you
just
never
going
know.
to assume
You
there was
never
more
know.
than that, but yeah, maybe just a single. Hey, at least they helped us out and told us. It's very, very ideal for that.
Third end of this game brought to you in part by Team Edmonton. You know, we talked to Dustin Brown yesterday about the start of pickleball and lawn bowling, so we're really excited about that. And we do have an update over on Sheet E as Toronto won with a steal of one in the second end to take a 2-0 lead over Saskatoon 2. Now, that would just break everything wide open in Pool A.
It would keep a couple teams alive in Pool A who are cheering on Toronto for sure.
You would have to think that fatigue is a factor there. Again, Saskatoon 2 last night, they didn't get off the ice until just after midnight.
They played over a 3-hour game.
It was close to 3 hours. They started at 9:30.
Yeah, and they were
done by 10:30, 11, 2.5 hours. Just over 2.5 hours. Yeah. So fatigue starting to play a factor. I know that Dylan Flash, their skip, was talking about being pretty tired. Dustin Anderson, he typically is the skip, so he was saying that he's not used to all the sweeping, so that plays a factor as well. So, and then when you're up against the 2-time defending champions from Toronto,
you can't sit back,
and you know that they smell blood in the water. They're trying to fight their way back, especially.
Yesterday.
And that was a very tough loss for them against Halifax too. Halifax's first win of the event. So yeah, definitely keeping an eye there, as that will bust everything wide open.
Yeah, for sure.
So if that were in fact, if Toronto does end up winning that game, Saskatoon 2 and Ottawa would be tied for first in Pool A at 5-1.
But
Saskatoon does have the advantage because they beat Ottawa in head-to-head matchup, so it would still be those two teams potentially advancing. But then that sets up some interesting games over in Draw 7, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Once we have a clear picture of stuff happening, we'll hype up some games for this afternoon.
Well, Calgary won with a 3-0 lead over Edmonton 2 over in Sheet A. That would put Calgary 1 over at 4-2.
Calgary 2 didn't score in D. It was one. Oh, so that must have been just for a single for Vancouver they must have had, and Calgary got the second shot there. They were measuring for Vancouver 2. Okay. So interesting result there.
All figured it out.
Right?
Someone just brought in some delicious food up here.
I ate a big breakfast at home. I'm like, that smells amazing. I should go get something.
Halifax doing pretty good here in our feature game Sheet C against Regina.
Yeah. Hit and
They've stuck around. They've got 3 rocks in there.
They got some rocks in place spread out in the house. So Regina's going to have to start figuring out what they want to do in terms of offense here.
Well, because if you're Halifax, you can't just score one here. You need to score. You need multiples here to keep your hopes alive in this game.
Yeah. We'll see what they can do. Again, we're about 2/3 of the way through the end here. I think we're on we might be on Skipstone. Yeah, we're on Skipstones. So we're 3/4 of the way through the end. Regina's first Skipstone here for Dustin Kidby.
Dustin
Kidby.
Did you notice, by the way, he has a sweet Blackhawks hat?
I mean, good for him for repping that. Like, I mean, I don't know if I could rep that.
He's a Connor Bedard fan.
I mean, Connor Bedard's a crazy player.
He did play for the Pats.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah. I mean, good for him for repping that, though. He's definitely coming with some heat. I think they want to take out I think the red in the 8-foot there.
They're going to try it.
A nice intern hit. I'm a big fan of
Gets
intern hits.
Gets the one, rolls. Is it enough?
No.
And it freezes. What a shot.
What a shot.
And their shot stone. Yep. Based on what we can see here.
Just shot stone.
What an incredible shot by Dustin Kidby.
That's why you do the interns. I love intern hits.
And again, there's that Briar experience, right?
Yeah, 100%. the confidence coming in to your final day of competition. Okay, let's punch this ticket to the finals.
Yeah.
We got this.
Oh yeah, he's been in more pressure,
High pressure
situations for sure.
He's just riding a bike for him at this point. So, see what Halifax can do here. They're talking through their options. Looks like they're probably trying to hit or draw in, I would assume, to get rid of that yellow or sit on top of it. But again, like you talked, they need multiples. We got to see what they can do here. It looks like they're electing for a hit. Even though it is frozen on top, there's no jam behind it. So if you hit a nose hit there, it goes right through, and then you're potentially sitting 3. And Regina either has to hit or draw, and then that could be disaster for Regina if they don't deal with that. So lots at play here still for Halifax to get multiples. They're not out of it quite yet. So let's see what shot they can make here.
I love how you just lay out every single option.
I just think 3 ahead. I'm a skip. I think 3 shots ahead.
Right?
Big update in the World Curling. 7-7 in the 10th between Sweden and Scotland. What a game that's probably. If you're in Moose Jaw and you're not at any of these playoff games, go buy tickets now.
Or they could be in Moose Jaw live.
If you're even there and you're
streaming on their phone, right?
Yeah. If you're in Saskatchewan, and you're at the game, stream us there. Get show people what we're doing.
Nice shot by Corey Oickle here.
Oh yeah, perfect. See what I said? And
Yeah.
now they can't really take out that hit because it's jamming there, and that would leave them with some multiples potentially. So tough shot for Regina here to figure out what they want to do. Do you knock out the back? Do you freeze on the back and force them to a draw?
I think that's probably your best bet.
I think so. But again, that's a precision shot. You got to make it. And I know Dustin, like we just talked about, has been in those high pressure situations before. It's still got to make the shot. It's easy enough to call it from here and say what you should do.
They're looking to get those 2 out.
Yeah. All I worry about is if you hit that nose,
And it jams.
it could roll that top one in more.
And then it's a draw for 3.
And then it's a draw for 3. Exactly. So precision shot coming here. Not electing to play the draw back to that red. Rather would play the hit.
Well, I guess, the risk, though, becomes if that draw is not perfect,
exactly.
then you give them an opportunity to score 4.
And then
and it's a tie game, and all that work.
Then the first 3 ends don't matter.
Meant nothing. Meant nothing.
Yeah. So see what they can do here.
Let's see what Dustin Kidby can come up with here in his final stone.
A hit, roll. Ooh, there's a hit for 3.
And there's that.
Hit for 3. Halifax not out of it yet. Got a chance here.
Breathing some life back into things.
And you got to think that this is into the comfort zone for the skip. I mean, as a skip, I know hitting's my comfort zone. It's like, okay, yeah, I got this. Straight down the center kind of thing. Real happy. So all you got to do is nose hit it and sit. Even if you're off a little bit, as long as you don't spill. Nice control weight probably. And then you're back in this.
Corey Oickle to try and inject some life into Halifax 1 here in the third and the final shot. Quick update over on sheet H. Saskatoon 1 with a 6-1 lead over Montreal. That would put them at 3-3. Gets the hit and the stick, and that is 3
back in the game
for Halifax. At the end of 3 ends, Regina 4, Halifax 1, 3. Welcome back to the Granite Curling Club in Edmonton for the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. My name is Kevin Jesus, along with Matt Petrick, and it is fourth end action here in Draw 6 between Halifax 1 and Regina. The fourth end brought to you in part by the Imperial Sovereign Court of the Wild Rose. Since 1976, they've been an integral part of Edmonton's 2S LGBTQ+ community, one of the first organizations to donate to HIV research in the 80s, providing a scholarship fund to support 2S LGBTQ+ students entering post-secondary in Alberta. And they do a ton of fundraising for community groups and events. They also host some great drag bingo shows.
Oh, yeah,
I went to one of them
absolutely.
at Endeavour not too long ago. I believe they're doing one at Campio pretty soon here.
Cool.
So
Yeah, those are good times.
yeah, they got great events there, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, good time. So Halifax is definitely back in this game. That's going to feel good for them. Regina, not so much. I feel like they're on the opposite train of giving up 3 there.
Yeah.
Not ideal. So
Yeah, it looked like after 2 ends, it looked like Regina was,
in the lead. They
sitting
were-
comfortable and
they were
in
just
cruise
coasting
control a
us.
bit, but things completely changed, and Halifax won. Fighting for their lives here, trying to keep things interesting. We talk about keeping things interesting. As I mentioned before, Saskatoon won with a 6-1 lead over Montreal over on sheet H. That would drop Montreal to 0-6. Regina plays Montreal in draw 7. So, again, starting to think ahead to the next draw. Regardless of what happens here for Regina, if they go up against Montreal, on paper, that would put them with that 5th win.
Yeah, on paper sounds great though. We watched yesterday something on paper that shouldn't happen.
I know.
So
Those are
these-
things you don't want to jinx anything.
These curling
of course.
championships are wild, and
right?
every game is interesting. It doesn't matter which teams are playing. So we'll see how that shakes out later. And nice shot by Halifax to get past the guard here. Just got to stay in the house.
Toronto 2 has taken a 2-1 lead over Edmonton 1 over on sheet H. Toronto 2 tied for 3rd in Pool B at 3-2. So again, this
With Edmonton
makes things very interesting.
Winner keeps their dream alive. Losers tournament ends here.
We are setting up for a wild finish.
Right? Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be great. Ottawa scored another point on sheet B, firmly in control of that game. Sadly for St. John's, at this point,
It's been a long event for St. John's.
I heard they had some travel trouble getting here, so not always the best to do that.
Yeah.
But go out maybe your next game, have some fun with whoever you're playing there. I believe they're playing. No, we didn't write this one down. There was one of the. Probably playing Halifax 2 or something.
Yeah, they're playing Halifax 2 in that final
So
game.
it'll be a good East Coast game there. For them, pretty sure they probably all know each other. So there's that. Yeah.
Just watching over on sheet A, and Edmonton 2 in a world of trouble. I don't know. Maybe they did
There's
get that
yellow
one.
in the back.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they came up with there.
Had they gone through the house, that would have been handshakes, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
That was a lot of rocks in play for Calgary one there.
Over on sheet G, Winnipeg with a 3-2 lead
Close game
over
over
Halifax 2.
Close game over there. It's good to see there.
So again, we're trying to give you paint the picture of what's happening here, as all of these games have playoff implications. So trying to keep you updated as best we can while we're also watching this game here as well on our feature sheet between Regina and Halifax 1.
Halifax setting up kind of nicely here for them. They're now on a bit of defense without the hammer. Trying to make sure that Regina can't score more than 1 here. If you keep Regina to 1, I think you're still really in this at the halfway mark of the game. If you give up multiples, you might just be back in the same scenario you were an end ago. So you don't want to do that. The good thing is there's a lot of rocks in play for both teams in the house. As I say that, they take 2 out, 1 each. So we'll see what they can do with that. Sheet E going a little bit of slow curling, as to be expected there with how important of a game that is.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Is it final stones? I know that's skip stones for sure.
Let's skip stones. There's still 2 more rocks
Still
to
2
go
more.
over there. but Toronto 1 looks to be
Firmly
in control there.
this house there. I think I see, at least without the pillar in the way, at least 2 counters. I don't know if there's more.
I see 3. I see 3
There's
yellows.
one in the back. I just don't know if it's if that red's out counting it or not. Because there's I just don't know. It's the vision on that. But we'll keep you guys updated when the score comes for that one. But Toronto looks like they're playing a bit better this morning.
That's a big game over in Pool A.
Yeah. Could shake up all of the standings for sure.
Making my life really difficult as we try and
that's why I'm here to help
crunch
out
the numbers and figure
that
all
out
of this
with you.
out.
And our lovely tech guy back here.
Yeah, Tim from Curl, Alberta.
With his insanely good spreadsheet of helping us out there too. So, but we like to talk through the math. That's the fun part.
And I'm terrible at math.
Big shot coming here from Regina. They need to not be on that guard. Looks like they're going to get by and knock out that. St. John's probably will play a run back here, or at least a hit and roll for sure. That's what they're calling, in order to sit behind their guard. I think that's the ultimate goal here, is to get a couple behind their center guard there and force Regina to do something.
Both teams seem to be reading the ice really well.
Yeah.
This game, we haven't had really too many issues. There was that one uncharacteristic miss, but hey, sometimes
that could have just been a throw.
Yep, that just happens.
Yeah, it could have been about anything. And the ice looks pretty good right now, which is great. And Sheet C fans will love that. An intern hit here for the roll.
Hits, rolls,
rolls
hopefully not too far.
Yeah, too far for sure.
It's still sticking around. It's still sticking around.
Yeah, it's not counting with that. And got to think about a couple stones ahead. How does Halifax get that yellow one out from Regina to make those 2 count? So we'll see what the Skips have in mind there. Regina obviously has a plan. They were ready to go with their shot. So we'll see what happens with that. Probably just a freeze on the back there.
This is Nathan Murray's first shot of the 4th end.
It's got to curl a bit. Nice shot by Regina.
Nicely
there.
done.
It's not a perfect freeze on there, but it's high enough that there's the jam possibility. If you don't hit this rock out right, was what
I was going to say. I think
Halifax.
Corey's calling for it to come up. We'll get out of the right.
But you got to hit. You got to hit it right. You got to hit it right here. You got to hit it about 10 o'clock on the rock, because if you hit it anywhere between 12 and about 2, I think you're going to jam into your own rock in the back, and that's less than ideal for that. So.
It is a 5-0 lead for Toronto 1 over Saskatoon 2 through 3 ends.
That's a score. Wild game there.
And that's going to make things really interesting. We might have some logjam ties here.
Right.
Calgary 1 is currently in the lead over Edmonton 2. So let's just say all of this plays out the way it's looking right now. So Calgary 1 improves to 4-2. Toronto 1 improves to 4-2. Saskatoon 2 drops down to 5-1. So then Saskatoon 2 plays Edmonton 2. Edmonton could play spoiler.
Yep.
And then Calgary 1 plays Toronto 1. So if both those teams
and Ottawa plays
4.
Winnipeg.
So the loser of that game would be eliminated.
For sure.
For sure.
The winner could still be eliminated too.
Potentially.
Oh. What a day we're having here in the finals.
Just make it easy for me.
This is why this format's good. You get all this fun stuff.
I agree that this is one of the reasons why I absolutely love this
format. For at least a viewer. As a viewer, I can't comment as a player. Never played in such an event like this, but as a viewer, this is fantastic. A lot of rock movement there.
So Regina's sitting 3 at this point.
I think I think your best play is to get rid of these 2 yellows there. There's a way to spill in the 8-foot.
But I don't know if you can, because I feel like that.
You might be able to, you might not be able to. It'd be interesting. At least get one in roll, maybe. If that's what they're talking about right now. Because even if you roll and jam on the other one, that's really good too. Blocking a potential hit from Regina there to get anything else. So we'll see what they end up deciding here.
We're also keeping an eye on other Pool B action over on Sheet D. They've blanked the first and third ends, so Vancouver still up 1-0 over Calgary 2. Again, Calgary 2 currently in first place at 4-1. Wouldn't that be something the two
top teams lose?
If they drop, then that just
throws chaos everywhere. I was gonna say, what do you mean you can't score 14 points in an end? Like, is that not a thing?
I love it.
Skip Stones here on Sheet C. Halifax with the first, since they don't have Hammer here. It looks like they're just going for that hit and roll on top of the other one in the 8-foot here, in order to preserve some sort of force for a single. So, update on the World Curling Championships. Looks like Bruce Moat's advancing there. They're featuring him.
It is 8-7 the final.
What a game. That's what you want to see. 8-7 in 10 ends. That's a wonderful game.
We don't do 10 ends here. We only do 8 here.
Hey, I mean, yesterday we were looking at potential 9 after midnight, so.
Gets the one out, rolls out.
But does he sit on his, maybe? Ooh. I think it's out counting the other yellow, so they're sitting second shot. However, I do think Regina's just going to attack that immediately.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you?
I think that's the play for them. I think the double's there for them because there's a little more space than the other one. They're not kissed against each other.
But I don't think they are. I think they're just going to be drawing
draw.
in.
I mean, I guess that makes sense too because of Halifax with a single rock left. Well, how do you defend against that?
Yeah.
And then that. So we'll see what Regina has up their sleeve for their final shot. This being the first shot from the skip, so there's always that.
If you're Saskatoon 2, you starting to get a little nervous here?
100%,
Because you're 5-0. Let's say you drop down to 5-1. Then if you lose to Edmonton 2, and let's say Toronto 1, then beats Calgary, Toronto has the tiebreaker over Saskatoon. They're in. So suddenly a team that went 5-0 in the first 5 games
could be out
because of one bad
The only
day.
solace for Saskatoon 2 here is they did pick up that big win against Ottawa.
That was not what they were looking for with that draw.
Yeah, that was an error there. Halifax given a bit of a lifeline here to defend.
Once again,
maybe give
those
a
little
force.
mistakes. It's those little mistakes that make all the difference.
They're definitely second rock, so they're trying to figure out how to play that properly. Whether they attack the shot stone or attack the one that's sitting third rock and roll over, maybe, is what they're thinking here. But going back to your point, the whole Saskatoon 2 being 5-0, they did pick up that crucial win against Ottawa earlier in the week here, which would put them in the over the tiebreaker there. So even Ottawa having a dominant performance today and improving to 5-1, that might not be enough for them.
This is wild.
This is just a wild week of curling.
A wild finish. And that's what you want. You want that excitement. You want that excitement as you head into the final few days of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Quick update, China and Norway going to extra ends at the Worlds.
Who has Hammer?
In Moose Jaw. I mean, that's a great question.
You should have looked that up.
I mean,
I'm sure that it's going to switch over. We'll figure that out.
When it comes off commercial, we'll quickly see. The buzzer has just gone off here. Again, they're trying to do a buzzer at the 1 hour mark, and then when there's 10 minutes to the 2 hour mark as well, trying to keep everyone honest to time. Because you don't want super long games like we saw last night with Saskatoon 2 Winnipeg, and that may be playing a factor here in Saskatoon 2's performance against the 2-time defending champions Toronto 1, skipped by Bill Francis. So here we go, final shot in our featured game, Corey Oickle.
Oh, they think that's heavy. They're calling line and they're calling everything. There's lots of shouting happening. I think it might just be a nose hit.
Which they've got.
Which is good. I don't think that's the worst play. Because Regina here only has a shot for one, I think. Because they're dead.
I don't think you have enough to get the roll there.
No. That's a tough roll just to bump it.
So you
and
just,
even then you worry
get your
about
one.
your spilling.
Yep.
So take your one and keep going. So there's that. So Halifax accepting the gift from Regina there in terms of a miss and playing it properly and potentially still being in this game. Yeah, this pool A could get pretty wild pretty quickly here. So we'll keep everyone updated on that for sure. Final shot coming for Regina though, looking just for a hit and stick on the Halifax stone to score a single. Might as well use the backing while you have it. Make sure it sticks. China does have hammer.
Yeah, Norway stole one in the 10th to force the extra.
Insane.
Is he around the guard?
I think he's on the guard.
Got it.
Oh no! A steal
So that could be a
two.
Could be a steal of two for steal of one for sure. You're gonna measure it.
I
A
genuinely
steal of
think
one could be a steal of two.
Okay, from here it definitely looks like it's red.
Yeah.
But again, we're at a very skewed view, and I mean, if you're Halifax, you definitely want to make sure. You don't want to chance this. You want to just make sure that you're getting your 2 points here, because now you're in the lead. If it's a steal of two. I'm pretty sure we also missed handshakes on our other game, which is not as surprising as we thought.
On sheet B?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a foregone conclusion. It was 8-0 at one point.
So we don't have to scratch out your prediction
I
there.
already made that move there.
Yeah.
So we're waiting to see if it's a steal of one or if it's a steal of two.
It
is yellow. So it's just a steal of one.
Oh, definitely the optics up here. Man.
Right?
Steal of one, tie game after 4.
Wild. Halfway point
Told
of
you-
this game.
told you anything can
we're all
happen.
tied. It's going to be a nail biter. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back to the Granite Curling Club in Edmonton for the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. We are in for one heck of a final day of round-robin play here at the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. It is draw 6. There's only 7 draws.
There's only 7 draws.
Top 2 teams from each pool
Top 2.
advances to the semifinals. Coming into today's games, over in Pool B, Calgary 2 and Regina in the top 2 spots at 4-1 records. In Pool A, Saskatoon 2 and Ottawa were both in top spot. 5-0 record and 4-1 record respectively. Ottawa just won, beating St. John's, so they're officially at 5-1. They have booked their spot into the semifinals.
Yeah. Quick update on sheet A. Calgary won. I think just scored 3 against Edmonton 2. So
That'll move them to 4-2 if they hold on to that.
Yeah, and we were talking about other implications for at least Pool B, because our feature game is also in Pool B. Sheet F with Edmonton 1 taking the lead now over Toronto 2 after 3-2 lead for them. So again, those teams are in control of their own destiny. If they win, they keep themselves alive. If not, potentially they're out of the tournament, in contention at least for Sunday. So both teams are going to be playing very hard there.
We're going to have our work cut out for us after this to update the standing.
And
you've got to go curl.
still.
You've got to curl. So I'm going to be the one busy. But thankfully, Dean Carlson, who's our co-chair, will be around. And Tim's been keeping his spreadsheet. I have a spreadsheet going.
We've talked about it enough that we should also have a good idea.
We'll make sure we can kind of figure things out and figure out ideally who's where. We need to have updated cumulative drop information. We need to make sure all of that is accurate.
Those might come into play here.
We might be at that situation where it might have to. Again, though, head-to-head matchups are a big factor too. So,
and that's the beauty of the single round robin here, with the 2-pool system, is that head-to-head is the most important tiebreaker, and it does help make sure that a team will be able to advance. The stronger teams being able to advance without teams beating everyone else. So. Yeah, a 3 score for Calgary 1 there.
So Calgary 1 firmly in control over on sheet A. That one moved them to 4-2. And then, so who does Calgary? Calgary 1 then plays Toronto 1.
They don't have an easy day.
No, so we're an update from Toronto 1, the 2-time defending champions. They're up
5-0.
5-0 on Saskatoon.
Skip stones are happening over there right now. I believe this is Toronto 1's last shot.
Yeah. Bill Francis, the skip there.
See what he does in the house here. Gets that. Oh, what a shot.
Fantastic shot. Gets pretty much out of there. So now Toronto's sitting 2, forcing Saskatoon to draw to try and score 1. They need to make this. If they don't, this game is basically over.
Handshake.
And it would be the first loss for Saskatoon 2.
Which would throw that pool into
and honestly,
disarray
if I were them, I would 100% shake hands.
Because
save the energy. Save the energy.
You know you ought to play a big game
because
this afternoon.
that is the biggest game that they are going to play.
You have to win that.
That's against Edmonton 2, and guess what? That is our feature game.
Oh, that is. Oh.
That is the feature game.
Oh, we're going to have some fun this afternoon then. I mean, all of them are technically featured games if we keep talking about them at this rate. And we will because they're so exciting,
We're trying to keep everyone updated on what's going on. The viewers watching on YouTube, they can see what's happening here. So we're just trying to, keep people, paint that picture.
And, if you're excited and you're in Edmonton, why not come watch this excitement live? Come down to the Granite Curling Club. There's lots of room.
Oh, they crashed on the guard.
Oh, no.
I think it is going to be handshakes.
I think so. I think you do that. Yeah.
It is. It's handshakes. Toronto 1 hands Saskatoon 2 their first loss.
Redemption for Toronto 1 after the disaster of the upset yesterday against Halifax 2.
Wow.
That just throws this pool into craziness.
So Saskatoon 2. So at the end of draw 6, Saskatoon 2 will still be in the lead at 5-1.
Yeah.
Ottawa will still be in second at 5-1
because they have the head-to-head.
Toronto 1 is now 4-2. Toronto 1 takes Calgary 1, which they're on the verge of beating Edmonton 2. So they'll both be 4-2. So one of them will be 5-2.
One of them will control their own. One of them will still have a shot after.
Yeah, the loser is out of that game.
100% for sure.
That will be an elimination game.
If you are a Calgary fan, you're really going to be paying attention to both the Ottawa and Saskatoon games this afternoon.
So with these results, Winnipeg officially eliminated. So Winnipeg, Edmonton 2, Halifax 2, St. John's all eliminated in Pool A. So that leaves 4 teams in Pool A battling for the 2 remaining spots. We know that Toronto 1 and Calgary 1 will play each other later this afternoon. The loser of that will be out, so that leaves 3.
But there's still a potential for the winner to be out there too.
Well,
that game might not really matter too much in terms of advancing. If
But we know for sure the loser will be out.
Either of these teams are both big Edmonton 2 fans this afternoon,
And
they're
Winnipeg.
big Winnipeg fans. So they're really banking on something there to throw it even to more chaos, so that some tiebreakers come into play and all that.
And I'll tell you, Edmonton too, dealing with some fatigue issues as well. Their skip Matthew Lefebvre actually stepped off the ice for a little bit, dealing with a migraine.
Yeah.
So he's back out there right now, but they are dealing with some fatigue issues right now. Obviously, Saskatoon too, obviously tired as well. So
they're going to take their rest now and hopefully bounce back for a good game against Edmonton later. Now we've talked about the standings. We should probably talk about the feature game here because we're all excited about the standings. There's a lot of rocks in play this end.
Yeah.
Actually, literally all of them so far. All of them are in play somewhere, whether there be guards or in the house.
Okay.
So we'll see what Regina wants to do here. I believe these are third stones.
So a reminder, Regina has the hammer after Halifax stole one in the fourth. This game all tied up at 4. This fifth end brought to you in part by Evolution, Edmonton's only 2S LGBTQ plus club, and they'll be doing a soft opening for us at their new location on Jasper Avenue, and we'll be the first ones
That's
exclusive
mighty nice
to
of
us.
them.
So that's going to be really nice. Good way to celebrate the end of this event on Sunday night.
A nice hit there by Regina to take some rocks out of play in the house. Regina needs to score some points here. They've sat back for a couple ends, and Halifax definitely has the momentum right now, so they got to start figuring out how to get that back for themselves.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Halifax 2 and Winnipeg is a close game over there.
Both those games meaningless now.
I'm just saying in general.
Or
It's
both
good to
those
see
teams.
some close
Yeah.
games. So
Look at this. Nice run
what a
back.
shot by
Almost a
Halifax
double,
there.
but got the job done. It's exactly what they needed to do.
I think they're still only counting one. I think the yellow's shot, second shot there, but
I would be measuring that one.
100%. If they were to end right there, yeah. There's too much curling happening. I'm like a squirrel here. There's the Worlds on TV. There's all these sheets on the ice. It's amazing.
At the World's 11th end, China with the hammer, their final shot.
Chance to draw for the win. And a big split of the house in our game on C here. Regina opening things up like crazy. That measure no longer needed, so there's that. But we'll see what Halifax wants to do here. Again, they got to play a bit of defense. They don't have hammers, so
The scrubbers out deep in that China-Norway
right.
game.
We're all focused on that too. Do they got it? They need 4 full foot. What a
And they
shot
do.
to the button.
China hangs on for the win over Norway at the World Championships. There's your update there, your out-of-town update.
Again, that you should be watching on your other screen. Not,
Yeah.
you should be listening to us and watching our game here.
I am like so distracted right now. There's like so much happening
know.
right now.
Right? It's like, oh my God, where do I watch? What is interesting? That's one less thing now, so we're good.
Right? We can focus on the action here on the ice, especially here on our feature sheet. Sheet C, Regina taking on Halifax 1, a game with massive playoff implications.
Yeah. A nice guard coming in there from Halifax. They probably would have liked it over just a little bit. However, the port through to make that hit is quite precision of a shot. So it looks like they're trying to run back an angle raise kind of on their rock to make it work, which can be tricky in itself. Especially we talked yesterday about that line.
That
There's
side of
that
the
line
ice.
right there. So who knows what's going to happen with that? With the ice being a little warmer now that it's been 4 ends and.
So let's see what Nathan Murray can do here in the 5th.
Nice control weight coming out. You don't need too much there. You just need it to hit. You need to hit.
You don't want it on the nose, but looks like they've got the angle that they want.
Too much of an angle.
Too much.
But it opens it up. Halifax has to put another guard up to block it if they want, or find something else out. Whether they freeze onto the
I would
yellow in the back.
I would probably look at putting up a guard where that just on that same line
Yeah.
that they've been coming down to, because they haven't really been playing on the left side of this.
Yeah, I'm also
sheet.
wondering if they're considering freezing to that yellow over there, right?
Yeah.
Because if you just freeze on top of it, the jam then dissuades a hit from Regina,
Yeah.
and that could stop some multiples from happening. Ultimately, I think the guard is the better play.
William Russell certainly likes the idea of the guard. It is getting loud in here now as the Spring Fling teams start to make their way in.
The rowdy folk, yeah.
Rowdy folk. What time is your game supposed to start?
I believe
12:30? 1:30?
Yeah. We got
Okay,
lots
good.
Of time.
Okay, lots
we
of
got
time
lots
then.
of time. We're good. Don't worry. I don't even know what sheet I'm on. Hopefully my team will figure that out for me, and I'll just meet them downstairs. But
I think I realized yesterday I forgot to put some of the sheets down.
no,
on
they
that
were there
schedule.
when I
Okay,
checked.
good.
I just forgot
Okay.
what sheet I am this
Okay.
morning, so they were there. I saw. You did a
It's
good
been
job.
a lot. It is really
You
hard.
crushed it, man.
It's really hard organizing
Yeah.
an event of this
Don't worry,
magnitude.
you're crushing. So did the
especially
whole,
especially when we're all volunteers,
Right.
And this is all out of our wheelhouse in many ways.
You know, if you want to show support your volunteers, you can buy them some beer or drinks.
You know,
how can they do that, Kevin?
I've taught you well, my friend. I've
Right?
taught you well. $7.50 for a single, $23 for a pitcher. Send an e-transfer to curlingwithpride@gmail.com. That's curlingwithpride@gmail.com. Include the name or team name in the e-transfer message. Corey Oickle here throwing his first of skip stones here in the fifth end. Looking for the guard to protect that one stone that's sitting there. Wouldn't that be something if they can get another steal here in this end?
Well, they have all the momentum. They're playing loose. They're playing happy with their momentum here.
Again, what a shift though, right? Because Regina started the game with the hammer. They scored their 2. Then they steal 2 in the second.
Perfect guard.
But then that third end, things started to shift. Halifax scored their 3. Then they got the steal in the 4th, which leads us to the 4-4 tie.
Yeah, great guard by Halifax there. Exactly where you want it. The run back is there, but again, you have to hit that angle there, and that line has been tricky for all of our curlers this week on sheet C. Few have navigated it quite well. We know Regina just missed it on the shot before. It's a little more inside of the same shot, but that side of the ice definitely has a different feel to it.
I feel like it's so close to that guard. It's going to be really tight to
You
get
have to
that.
navigate all of that, because you also have to hit that almost nose, if not maybe just 1 o'clock-ish on the rock there. So it'll be very interesting to see what ends up coming out of that one for that.
Big shot here for Dustin Kidby, the first of his skip stones in the 5th. You need this for confidence.
Oh, 100%. If this was me, and I missed this, I'd be in my own head already and trying to figure it out. He's on the guard.
Nope.
Oh,
Got
just.
past it. Just
See?
missed it.
Yeah, that angle. Told you. It's
Once
so
again.
precise. So I think they're going to throw this. I don't know if you throw the same shot, because now Regina has a frame of reference in terms of what to hit for that, right? I think you maybe want a higher guard than, you don't want it as deep as that one to force a longer raise, and so they don't have that familiarity with their shot, because that's what you want to play off of.
This is wild. You can start to see the frustration starting to build.
100%. You can see the tenseness in Team Regina coming out, and Halifax, they seem a little less tense now. They feel like they're not that they're in the driver's seat, but they're happy with how they are and how they've come back in the game.
Quick update on sheet D. Calgary 2 scores 1 in the 4th, so their game against Vancouver tied up at 1. Again, Calgary 2 and a tie for first at 4-1 with Regina. So both Regina and Calgary 2 in some tough battles here in draw 6.
Yeah.
Corey Oickle's final shot of the 5th end. Again, looking for that guard to protect that one stone, hoping for yet another steal.
I think this is deep like the last one. It doesn't look like it's going to stop. A little different angle, though, which is ideal for them to throw
I feel
Regina
that
off a little bit.
That work, but it works a little bit to their favor. They should. in theory.
Oh, they're trying to play off theirs now.
They're
thinking about that.
yeah, they don't even want.
They want multiples, right? So you got to think about that. Because if they just hit the red into the red,
Yeah.
red might still sit at 1, and that's not ideal. You need to put yours in there. So big angle raise coming out here for Regina. Another precision shot.
Dustin Kidby has his work cut out for him here.
Halifax doing a great job. They're not making it easy on Regina here to get their points, and that's what you need to do without the hammer. You got to make it hard on that other skip to make not an easy shot there.
A lot of pressure.
For sure.
Big moment. Dustin Kidby. Will Halifax come up with another steal? Will Saskatchewan? Or Saskatoon? Or Regina? Oh my goodness.
You're all over the place here. No sweep. They think they're on it.
And again, just off. So it is a steal of 1 for Halifax. At the end of 5 ends, Halifax won with a 5-4 lead over Regina. What a game. Welcome back to the Granite Curling Club in Edmonton for the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Kevin Jesus here along with Matt Petrick, and we're also joined by the new president of Curling with Pride, David Gallant. David, how are you?
I'm doing great this morning. How are you guys?
Doing very well. David's also on the committee here for Nationals as well, so you've been keeping busy. How has the event been going for you?
It's been going really well, actually. The curlers are, making some great shots. The drinks are flowing quite nicely, and everyone's having a great time.
Speaking of good times, the Icebreaker Bonspiel coming up in November. It's Curling with Pride's signature Bonspiel, and it's been a great party. It's been a big event. It's been attracting a lot of attention from across the country. What can you tell us about this year's event coming up in November?
Yeah, so we're super excited to bring it back November 6th to 9th. Curling begins in November 7th, Friday morning. Early bird pricing is on now until May 31st at $325 a team, which is a huge steal of a deal. The regular fee is $450 to sign up, so you definitely want to get in early. New this year, because we're starting Friday morning, there are 2 draw times Friday morning, typically 9 a.m. and noon. So the first 16 teams that register for Icebreaker will actually get to choose which one of the 2 draw times they are going to curl at.
Now that's an incentive.
It is. So if you want to be one of the first 16, you better register fast. Because it's not going to last long.
So it's $325?
$325 from now until May 31st, and then it increases to $450. I highly doubt that we're going to need to actually increase it, though. I think that...
It usually sells out pretty quick.
Yeah, it usually sells out pretty quickly, so we're really excited to bring it back again.
Awesome. David Gallant, the president of Curling with Pride, giving us with a nice update here on the Icebreaker. Anything else you want to add?
Nope. Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Perfect. Go grab your beer. Tim from Curling Alberta just let me know that they're displaying our feature game on the big screen here in the lounge.
Oh my!
I know.
Right.
The pressure's on.
Right.
Hopefully they don't have the audio.
Right? Who would want to listen to that?
Right. But for those of you who are, thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you for paying attention. We really appreciate it. It is 12:30 in the afternoon here. That would be what? 3:30 in Halifax, 1:30 in Regina. I was going to say Saskatoon.
No,
again.
Regina, they're on our time now.
Oh yeah, I guess so, right?
Yeah. I have a coworker in Moose Jaw. That's the
Yeah.
only reason I know that.
I should remember that. I lived in Saskatoon for a long time, so I know what it's like in Saskatchewan.
Halifax definitely in the driver's seat in this game.
Oh.
They're playing with confidence. They feel at home in all of this. So we'll see what they can do. If Regina can get out of the bit of slump that they're in the last 3 ends. They blazed out to a 4-0 lead, and now they're down 5-4.
Quick update in Pool B action. Toronto 2 with a 5-3 lead over Edmonton 1. That would put Toronto 2 at 4-2. And again, we could be looking at a bit of a
three-way
logjam
tie at
here.
4-2 there.
I mean, this
If
is
Regina doesn't hold on here, and Calgary doesn't hold on in their Vancouver game because they're still tied.
But don't forget, Halifax 1 would get the win. They'd put
Also
them at 4-2. So
four team.
there'd
Oh
be
my
4
God.
teams. 4
Pool
teams
B.
tied at 4-2.
Pool B would be.
So again, so what does that look like? Calgary 2 plays Toronto 2,
winner would get out.
in theory.
Yep.
And then Regina plays Montreal.
Yep.
And then
Halifax 1 plays Saskatchewan 1.
Halifax
Saskatoon
1. Halifax 1 plays Yeah.
The winner of Calgary 2, Toronto 2 in that later game would still have a chance dependent on the other games that happen. Montreal could play spoilers. Saskatoon 1 could play spoilers. And anything could happen.
Oh,
Right? We're in for a good game. Good day.
this is the math gymnastics that we have
it.
to do here.
Love
My
it.
brain hurts already.
Mine's just firing on all cylinders here.
Forget buying a drink. Like, buy me an ibuprofen, please.
I got some in my curling bag down there. I've been a very frequent user of that this weekend.
Oh my goodness. This is wild. Sixth end of this draw is brought to you in part by Special Event Rentals. A big shout out to Lars Eriksson, our outgoing president at Curling with Pride. He's a big member of Special Event Rentals, and it is because of him you see so many of the decorations here. You'll see some of that at the Bison Lodge as well. And really cool, on Sunday, we will actually have bleachers on the ice for the final.
That's
So
really cool.
We're pretty excited about that. Just try to give it a bit of an arena type feel
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
final.
So
Hopefully, it
cool.
won't be too distracting for the curlers, but for those that have been to the Briar and stuff, I mean, a couple dozen
Yeah, they'll
fans
be-
on the
they'll be
ice, a little
like,
different
whatever.
than a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
thousand that you see
Right.
over at arenas for the Briars. So here we go. It is the sixth end. Regina up 4-0 at one point after 2 ends, and they've given up 5 unanswered points, including steals of 1 in the 4th and 5th ends. So it's Halifax 1 with a 5-4 lead over Regina.
Yeah. Uncharacteristic mistakes coming out from Regina, missing shots by millimeters, or their angles are just off. So they're putting themselves in a not great position here. Although they still have hammer, so there's still a chance. But Halifax is just firing on all cylinders, and it's looking good for them.
So we're down to the thirds, starting to throw their rocks. And right now it is Halifax 1 sitting 2. But again, it's still pretty early right now.
Yeah. I mean, we're only in the 6th end. Yeah.
How big is this end though for
big.
Regina? They
No, it's big for
really
both
need
teams.
that, but they need that
Yeah.
confidence specifically for them.
If Halifax can steal another point,
Yeah.
kind of drive that dagger in a little bit. Regina's mental game might not be there. But if Regina can come back, maybe they'll rejuvenate themselves there.
Saskatoon 1 has defeated Montreal, so Saskatoon 1 improves to 3-3. Montreal drops down to 0-6. Again, though, for Saskatoon 1, the best that they could finish is 4-3, and
That's not going to cut it.
yeah, I mean, because of the tiebreakers,
Yep.
I don't. Yeah, it's not
Three
there.
losses isn't going to help you.
Because Calgary 2 and Regina already have the tiebreakers
Yeah.
over them.
Yeah.
So
Nice control hit coming in from Regina here. Little over curl there. Oh, and it spills onto their back one.
Rolls out.
Man, the red rolls out. The
Yeah.
Regina one stays in,
Yeah.
which is crucial for Regina. Have those points spread around the house, see what you can do. But I suspect Halifax to be taking out that yellow in the 12-foot by the red and starting to run them out of rocks every end if they can.
Wild how things just turn around.
Right? Here we thought after 2 ends we might be done early. I might get a nice break before my game.
Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance.
Hey, I'm having a lot of fun doing
Yeah.
this as well, so happy to be here.
William Russell throwing his final stone here in the 6th. And he should get the takeout.
Edmonton, too, sitting with a couple on A there. Not out of it yet. I mean, they're down, but they're still trying to do something.
Edmonton, too, is in a bit of trouble there, but
I mean, they're just trying to play spoiler at this point.
again, there's only 4 teams in contention in Pool A for the top 2 spots. That's Saskatoon 2 and Ottawa, both of them at 5-1. They both, their games have already ended in this this morning. Calgary won, Toronto won both. Oh, actually, Toronto won.
If you notice, Pool A is almost all done.
Yeah. Toronto won, beat Saskatoon 2. That's right. So, yeah, they improved to 4-2. So Calgary won right now. They're up 6-2. That would put them at 4-2, setting up for a wild finish.
Yeah, and they play each other, don't they?
Calgary won and Toronto won, yeah.
They're both Calgary Toronto games.
Yeah.
They both play
Did we plan it that
East
way?
versus West.
I don't know.
East versus West over there. I mean, who would you rather see in the Calgary Flames or the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Look at that freeze.
Yeah, what a beautiful freeze.
So we're on to the skip stones here. Corey Oickle looking to get rid of that top yellow stone.
We didn't talk about sheet D. Calgary 2 scoring a deuce there.
So Calgary 2 has taken a 3-1 lead.
Keeping their Pool B dreams alive.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they win that, they'll be alone in first place if Regina loses here.
Yeah. Then Regina definitely needs to win. They're definitely keeping track of that for sure as Regina. You have to be.
This is just insane how
Love
this is
it.
all playing
Love it.
out. I will say the double knockout format, really simple for standings wise and statistics wise.
But for viewers?
But for fun and the excitement and the incentive level, this round robin format is fantastic. Ooh, runs that back on their own.
Unfortunately, a jam on their own, yeah.
So now an opportunity for Regina to split the house.
Score some
and
multiples,
an
maybe.
opportunity to score 2.
Yeah.
But you've got to make it. We've seen here already that Dustin Kidby has kind of struggled a little bit with some of those shots.
Yeah, a bit more of the finesse shots. He's missed his angles a few times, so.
And again, uncharacteristic. I think ice conditions has been a bit of a factor. Fatigue has been a factor.
Absolutely. I mean, but could we talk about their sweaters? Like, that's a great looking sweater.
I know the
teal,
curl power. I know.
and
I
the
love
teal
it.
is
Yeah,
just a beautiful
It is
color,
fantastic.
right? They're on par with like Edmonton 2 sweaters. You know? Sweaters I would wear outside of curling.
Right?
Yeah.
So here we go. Dustin Kidby's first shot here in the 6th. You really want to make sure that you've got some separation here to ensure that you can get your 2.
And you want to make sure it's in the house.
Well, to give you, not to say ensure that you get your 2, to ensure the best opportunity for you to get your 2.
Exactly. And you got to make sure it's in the house. I mean, it looks like it is, but you can't be light on these shots. At this point in the game,
The scrubbers are working hard here. You've got to drag that in. You've got to get that in.
It's got to be full 12 for sure.
And they just
and it's
fall
light.
short again.
That's uncharacteristic mistakes coming out from Regina here. What do you think? They got a little too confident in their heads, and
No, I certainly don't think so. I mean, this is a team. Again, this may be their first time at nationals here, but I mean, these are some tremendous curlers who have been in way bigger situations than what we're facing here. I honestly just think, though, it just comes down to fatigue and just the ice conditions and the fact that Halifax won is no pushover.
oh no, Halifax was playing an
they're a
amazing
great
game
team.
too. Yeah, there's a reason why they're still in contention.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just when you have two really good teams up against each
This
other.
happens.
I mean, this is exactly what happens.
I mean, every year we watch that in the Briar.
1,000%.
Every time. Final shot here for Halifax. I think they're just trying to hit the yellow in the back there to punch it out and force a single on Regina. Even a hit and spill is fine by them. Yep.
Actually, that's probably the best situation.
So they have no backing.
No, not even that.
Because they can't hit the top one.
But it's the draws that have been
Yeah, and he just threw a draw, and now he's going to be questioning his weight.
1,000%. So that's actually works out really well for Halifax because you're forcing them here. But it looks like they're trying to actually just spill it in.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you just throw very much the same weight. You just got to tap it in. You have to get it to full 12, though.
But
at least touching the 8.
But when you're choosing this, is this telling you that you just don't have confidence in yourself with the draws?
100%.
Yeah. The way things have been going.
Yeah,
for
he's not.
this team
He doesn't seem super confident in his draws here. The weight looks a bit off. I mean, I think he did the same thing a couple ends ago where he was just short.
Yep.
So
this is a big moment for Regina. Halifax won, sitting 1 for sure. I'm confident they're only sitting 1.
yeah. Trying the tick. Yeah, that's what we thought too. Does he have it?
He does, but it needs to stick around. There's the scrub. And it's a little too far, so it is a steal of 1 for Halifax.
What a turn of events here.
3 straight steals of 1. Are they trying to? They're trying to see if maybe it's a steal of 2. I think it's only 1.
I think it's only 1. That yellow definitely looks more in than that. Oh, I think we're getting handshakes. Oh, that's
No.
That's high fives. That's high fives.
It was high fives. I mean, they can measure it if they need to.
Measure.
I think from here, yellow is definitely.
I think they called red.
Look at that smile on
Right?
Corey Oickle's face.
Oh, he is happy.
He's loving this.
He's a very happy guy right now.
I really hope that they quickly put up. No, they're saying it was 2. They're saying it was 2. So it's a
Wow.
steal of 2 for Halifax 1. That's a 7-4 lead. 7 unanswered points for Halifax 1
Wild.
through 6. What an unbelievable turn of events here at the Granite Curling Club. Draw 6 of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. We'll be right back in just a few moments. Seventh end action here, draw 6 at the Canadian Pride Curling Championships as Halifax 1 takes on Regina, and I want to paint this picture for you. Regina came into this game with a 4-1 record. Halifax won 3-2. Regina had the hammer. They score 2 in the first. They steal 2 in the second, taking a 4-0 lead. We're starting to think, okay, Regina's starting to run away with this. Halifax said, I've got other ideas for you. They score 3 in the third. They steal 1 in the fourth. They steal 1 in the fifth. They steal 2 in the sixth, and they've got a 7-4 lead. 7 unanswered points. What a turnaround here for Halifax, keeping their championship hopes alive.
To all of us up here, they said, "Hold my beer. We're gonna go win this game." Down 4-0. So
insane.
Insane.
Speaking of insane, over on sheet F, Edmonton 1 has just scored 2. So Edmonton 1 and Toronto 2 are both tied at 5 going into the 7th end.
Again, big implications in that game. Winner keeps their dream alive. Loser, unfortunately, ends their chance at going to tomorrow.
This is a fascinating opening draw of this Saturday.
Edmonton 2 also
slate of
scored a
games.
point on sheet A against Calgary. Still down 6-2. But I mean, mental-wise, that's good for them to pick up because they got a big game later today. They can play spoiler to
Edmonton 2 just scored 2?
1.
They scored 1.
So they're sitting
So
at
they
2
stole
points.
1.
Yeah. No, they had hammer.
No, they didn't.
Oh,
they
stole 1.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, they're down 6-3. Still a bit off in terms of winning that game, but they got a big game later, so that's a good confidence booster. Since they can play spoiler to Saskatchewan's now 5-1 record.
Cool. The
Wouldn't that
mental
be the thing?
gymnastics that we have to do with this.
If Sask 2 loses and some other stuff happens, 5-0 after day 3 of the thing, and
Again, I feel for Saskatoon too, because it was a long day for them yesterday, and getting off the ice just after midnight makes things difficult, and that is tough. And again, when you have, Dustin Anderson, who's used to, being a skip, and he's playing third, and he's sweeping a lot more, and you're playing 3 games in one day, like it is a lot.
100%. Regina here, kind of in the same boat. Like, you came into today looking like a favorite. And
I mean, I was telling everyone all week that Regina was my pick to win this championship here. And last night, I would have written off Toronto 1. I thought they were done after that loss to Halifax 2.
they played a fantastic game today. Just absolutely demolishing Saskatoon.
But they're going to need another big effort as they take on Calgary 1 in
Calgary
draw
one's
7.
Not playing bad as well either. So those are going to be some big games to watch later today. Aren't you glad we have such a good view for them?
I know we have our reserved seats, and
Right.
people are like clamoring for like certain seats.
Right.
We're nice.
But I mean, if you want to
here.
watch it with a better view than just our cameras, come down to the Granite Curling
Right.
Club.
Now, tomorrow will be nice because tomorrow you can get out onto the ice and sit on the bleachers for the semifinals and the final. Or actually, no, I think the bleachers are only going on for the final.
Which makes sense.
The seventh end brought to you in part by Allied Asset Management, Raymond James and Jonathan Lessick. Jonathan has been a member of Curling with Pride for years, but when he's not sliding out of the hack, he's crunching numbers and taking care of your financial future. As a financial advisor, he ensures your financial goals and investments aren't just dreams, they're reality. His group provides personalized financial planning based on your goals, your time, and risk tolerance.
I wonder what he would have said with your 50-50 yesterday if you should have spent that extra $20 there.
That's the closest that I have come to winning a 50-50.
Yeah, I don't think I've been that close ever. So
I'll just have to buy tickets again today. I won't even be close today.
just let me know when you buy tickets, and I'll just buy them right after you.
That was just so heartbreaking.
Right? Think of that. What you could have done with that money. Nice, quick Mexico vacation here.
Right?
There.
Maybe go down to Halifax.
Exactly. There you go.
Again.
Go visit Otis there.
Haven't been to PEI though yet, and maybe there's some incentive when PEI eventually ends up hosting the Canadian Pride Curling Championships because they are putting in a team next year.
Oh, wow.
First time.
Nice.
For the CPCC.
More representation.
Next year's event will be hosted in Toronto.
Oh, fun.
By the way, so Toronto will be the host of the 2026 Canadian Pride Curling Championship. So there's a lot of excitement with that one. It will be. Probably the format will be switching back to the double knockout only because they only have 6 sheets of ice at their rink as opposed to 8, so it does become a little bit more complicated.
Absolutely.
But who knows? Maybe this format proves to be so popular that there's consensus across the
And
country
they
to
figured out how to
going
make it work
forward.
with 6.
I mean, it would be nice,
Right?
certainly.
I definitely like it as a fan.
Oh my
I'll tell you
gosh,
that.
it's fantastic. It's such a great format.
These games wouldn't happen.
Yep. Looks like William Russell unsure of the call that Corey is calling for here. A little some nerves now. If you're
100%.
Halifax, you don't want to. They're in such a good spot.
But you don't have hammer, so I think that's what's worrying them a little bit, is how do we make sure we get out of this cleanly without giving up multiples. Not that they're in any sort of trouble here. They're sitting 2 in the house.
But I mean, I guess if you're Halifax 1, so you're down 7-4. Even if you give up 1, even if you give up 2, you still have hammer coming home.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a good situation to be in.
Yeah, you just don't want momentum to shift the other way and bang bang, and then you lose out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
So just talking it through, making sure, getting it done. That's what you should do. Making sure you know the call. Make sure you're not throwing the wrong thing.
Over on sheet G, Winnipeg with the lead over Halifax 2, 5-4 the score in that one.
Calgary 1 struggling a little bit on sheet A there. Edmonton 2 has got another deep rock there, almost buried. Not out of that game as clean as they probably want to be. So they're not on skip stones yet. So
I didn't see what happened here over on sheet D between Calgary 2 and Vancouver.
I didn't see that.
They just wrapped up the end there. That was the 6th end. Waiting to see what the score is.
I'm not too sure.
After 5 ends, it was 3-1 for Calgary 2. Again, Calgary 2 in first place in Pool B. So we're waiting to see what happens.
Not too sure Halifax loved what ended up happening there. They took out their guards and split rocks here and there. Everything's quite open now. So I'm not too sure if they loved that or they didn't love that.
If you're Regina, you absolutely need to score more than 1 point here.
Yeah. I think playing the easy shots here. Don't think about the precision complicated hits.
Yeah.
Start getting some stuff in the house behind some of the guards or the stuff in the higher of the house, making sure you're covering your points, and then leave the precision kind of to the end if you need it. If you can make an easy shot, make the easy shot.
On sheet D, we're still waiting for a score update, but we do know that Vancouver must have scored because Calgary 2 has the hammer.
Yeah.
I suspect they're going to be putting up the score right now, and they are, because clearly they're hearing us. And it was a single, so Calgary 2 still with a 3-2 lead over Vancouver in the 7th end. Again, Calgary 2 came into this game with a 4-1 record, sitting on top of Pool B with Regina. Regina in a battle here this morning/afternoon against Halifax.
Bunch of interesting games here this morning. Lots on the line for every team. I know we've talked about it ad nauseum at this point, but Calgary 2 holding a slim lead over Vancouver, who's already eliminated. That wasn't on our bingo cards. Halifax putting up a fight against Regina like they are, not on our bingo cards.
That needs to curl.
100%.
This needs to curl. It looks like it's gonna miss.
Ticket.
No.
Oh.
Went right through the house. Again, we talk about the little mistakes and how that can come back to haunt you.
Yep.
Could that come back to haunt
100%.
Halifax 1?
Regina could be sitting 3 with one buried behind there. And
Now this is your opportunity to shine. This is where you need Nathan Murray to make this shot.
Right? They know what the shot is. They're ready to go. They seem confident in it, and you just got to make it this one. Just don't overthink it. Just throw it like you normally would on whatever league night you're playing in.
So here we go, Nathan Murray. His final shot here in the 7th end.
Control weight coming out, which is right there. You don't want to...
So you just want a little bit of a roll, right? Just to get him behind that top yellow?
Ideally. Biggest thing, though, is making sure you get that hit.
Biggest thing is you got to get past that top yellow, and they do.
I think
The hit
it's a nose hit.
sticks around. That's okay, though.
That's the most important thing, is getting the rocks out, because now Halifax has nothing. They legitimately have nothing in there.
Regina setting themselves up nicely here to get them right back into this game, and they need that.
I think Halifax is going to try to maybe do the same thing, hit and roll or draw behind. Or they're trying to spill a guard.
There's the buzzer signifying there's 10 minutes to the 2-hour suggested time limit.
Suggested. We're going to put that in air quotes.
Suggested time limit. You don't want it to go too much over.
No.
Just ask Saskatoon too.
They're probably already back at their hotel in bed, getting a nice nap in before their next game.
Saskatoon 2 has their work cut out for them. They'll be
100%.
playing Edmonton 2. They're playing the hosts.
Maybe they want to go with a bang.
But Edmonton 2,
They're putting up a fight.
they've played probably close to half an hour at least more than Saskatoon 2 has today.
Yep.
Right? So that little bit of extra rest could come into play. Here's Corey Oickle
Yeah, they're trying to spill the guard. And,
with his first of
get rid
these
of
skip
points.
stones here in the 7th.
It's not the worst idea. Get rid of the points sitting in there. Do something.
Even if you get those 2 out, though, Regina's still sitting pretty because they do have 3 right
100%.
now, so you still have that opportunity.
The nose hitting it. So,
Looks like it's drifting, though, a bit. Got the 1.
got the 2.
Gets the 2. Nice double takeout for Corey Oickle.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needed to do there to make sure that if it's multiples, it's only 2, it's not 3.
So now for Dustin Kidby, is he trying to draw in behind?
Yeah, and I would be scared if I was Regina here. You got to make sure that hits perfectly.
Yeah.
He's thrown a couple draws that have been light in the last couple ends. So maybe he's figured it out. Maybe he's confident. We'll see.
Here's the thing, you got to trust yourself.
100%.
Dustin Kidby has made draws like this 1,000 billion
Billions of
times,
times.
like in his life.
Yeah.
So he knows he can get it done.
But how big is fatigue in that? We've
Right,
talked
yeah.
about it all day.
1,000%.
Think you know your weight and you're like, this should be good, and turns out it wasn't. I have done that plenty of times, so
Right.
I'm not absolved of that either. I think I've done that probably about 90% of my draws this weekend.
So here we go, Dustin Kidby. The first of his skip stones needs a draw in. Hoping for the draw in. Shouldn't say needs. Hoping for the draw
Hoping
in.
for the draw. I don't hear a lot of yelling.
It looks light again.
Yeah.
No, he's got it.
looks
He's
good.
got it. He's got it. Or does he?
It's in there.
Yeah.
It's not where they wanted it, but it's there and it's counting. So
That totally played with my mind. And from up here, it looked like it was
100%.
like
I
so
agree.
light.
That's why I just immediately went
Yeah.
to the TV above us.
Like, there's no way.
Now, if you're Halifax, you just freeze onto it and force them to a point. Let them take their point. Thank you very much. We'll take Hammer back to go home.
But you better make sure that you
have
get
to hit
that.
that. Yeah,
Because
that's the
if you
problem.
don't,
If you're out just a little, that's 3 points.
well, if you don't, depending on if you're light, depending on where it ends up,
That could be 3 for a drive.
you have
and they're
that
back in it.
opportunity to score 3.
It looks like they're going for the draw. Corey does seem like he's pretty confident in it, so we'll see. And man, I'm glad we put these headphones on. It has gotten loud in here.
Oh yeah, the
Which is
lounge
great.
is packed, which is great because it means the drinks are flowing. It means people are buying 50-50s. People will be buying raffle tickets. Make sure you let me win some of those raffle prizes.
Yeah, and let me know when you buy your 50-50 because I'll just buy it right after.
You're never going to let me live that down.
No, not for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
no.
okay.
After that, it has no effect because it wasn't the most recent one.
So here we go. Corey Oickle throwing his final stone here in the 7th end at the Granite Curling Club. By the way, thank you for all of you who have tuned in and are listening to our commentary. Probably not the best thing you've ever heard, but we're trying.
Hey,
we're
we're having-
volunteers.
we're
We're
having
just having fun.
Yeah.
We're trying to provide some ambiance, trying to provide you a little bit of an experience, if you will.
Oh, I just thought of something we could have talked about for Saskatoon too. What could they do after their game? Oh, who wasn't Saskatoon? Who was it? The Taylor Swift fan.
Oh, that was. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them are, but Jory, he's on Edmonton too, so that'll be part of our feature game later this afternoon.
Let's shake it off this game. And,
So here we go. Do you have the opportunity to get that out to score 3?
Absolutely.
If you're Dustin Kidby,
that should be a no-brainer. That should be in your wheelhouse as a skipper or third.
what a turnaround that would be.
Right, and then it'd be all tied coming home.
Tide coming home, Halifax with the hammer.
Whew. What a game. What a game. It's got to make it, though. It's got to make the shot.
Like, I'm nervous, and I'm not the one throwing the shot.
Should we check your heart rate a little bit?
My doctor, I'm sure, would say that, my blood pressure's a little high, so gotta bring that down anyways.
Lots of rocks and playing a lot of the other sheets, too.
Here we go. Final stone here in the 7th. Dustin Kidby hoping to score 3.
I heard weight's good. Uh-oh, it's curling a lot.
I think he's got it.
I think he's got it.
Out it goes, and it is 3 for Regina. And unbelievably, we will go into the 8th and final end of this game, all tied up at 7. Halifax with the hammer. It doesn't get any closer than this. Welcome back to the Granite Curling Club in Edmonton. It is draw 6. Halifax 1 taking on Regina. The 8th end, all tied up at 7. Halifax with the hammer. Quick update over on Pool A. Calgary won with a big win over Edmonton 2. So here's what we can tell you. In Pool A, again, the top 2 teams advance to Sunday's semifinals. Saskatoon 2 sits first with a 5-1 record. Ottawa sits second with a 5-1 record. Calgary 1 and Toronto 1, both at 4-2. Calgary 1 and Toronto 1 play each other in the 7th and final draw later this afternoon. The loser eliminated.
For sure.
The winner has a shot, but Ottawa plays Winnipeg. If Ottawa wins that, they're through. Saskatoon 2 plays Edmonton 2. If they win, they're through. So that Calgary-Toronto game may not even matter. But in order to have a chance, you have to win, and then your scoreboard watching the rest of the way. So that's how Pool A is going to shape up. Over on Pool B, toss everything up into the air.
Any plans you might have had for Pool B, completely gone.
Completely gone. So we'll see what ends up happening as this one progresses.
Pool B all still on the ice.
Yeah.
All Pool A pretty much done outside of the Winnipeg Halifax game, right? So.
No, Saskatoon, Pool B, Saskatoon 1 and Montreal wrapped up already.
But I'm saying there's only one game in Pool A left, and everybody else on Pool B that's in contention. So
you threw me off. I thought maybe my numbers were off.
No, you're good. You're good. So we talked about the fatigue thing, and we were talking.
The broadcasters are fatigued as well,
right? We're talking about Saskatoon having that little bit of advantage.
Yeah.
You know that Pool B. That's not going to exist because all these teams are playing late here.
This is wild.
So I don't think that we're going to be able to use that as a sort of crutch for them later if they're missing shots.
Goodness.
They're all going to be at the same level.
So let's take a look. Draw 7. It will be Edmonton 1 taking on Vancouver. That could be something interesting right now. Edmonton 1 tied with Toronto 2 at 5.
I think they're sitting a point for sure.
But again, Edmonton trying to fight their way back into contention here. Halifax 1 plays Saskatoon 1, so that's a big game as well. Calgary 2 and Toronto 2. There's a big game.
Calgary won, Toronto
And then,
won
of
the
course,
game.
Regina, Montreal.
Yeah, all big games. I think
Here's some
Edmonton just scored
applause.
some points.
Well, they got something. They're looking good there in the house.
Yeah.
But let's go back to our feature game here on Sheet C. It has been a wild game where Regina got off to that quick 4-0 lead through the first two ends. Then things started to shift. That pendulum of momentum shifted towards Halifax in the third, where they scored 3. They picked up a single in the fourth. They picked up a single in the fifth. They scored 2 in the sixth to take that 7-4 lead before Regina came back and scored 3 to tie this game up at 7. So that's where we are here in the 8th and final end. Regina 4-1 right now heading into this game. Halifax 3-2. Halifax needs to win this game to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Exactly. I mean, the good thing is they have Hammer. They're sitting a couple rocks in the house right now, so I don't think they're panicking too much. As I
Nice
say
little
that,
scrub
a
to
nice
get
draw from Regina there.
it right on the button.
I think they're looking at
So-
a run back off the guard.
Yeah, Corey wants to get rid of the guard
100%.
there, that center guard. Let's clean it up. Let's open it up a little bit.
Or at least have our guard up there.
Yeah.
At worst, if you nose hit it right.
Sheet F. Toronto 2 was drawing in. It looks like, did they get there?
Yeah.
I think they did. I think it's 1 red. So I think that is a 6-5 lead for Toronto 2, but Edmonton 1 has the hammer coming home. So again, another nail biter in one of those games over there.
Peter coming on sheet C here for that peel.
There goes the guard.
Ideally, I think he wanted to bang it, but didn't end up getting that. So, which is fine. Which is still more
So
than
now,
ideal.
if you're Regina, you just keep putting up those guards?
I think so. You definitely have to cover your 1-8 in the button area there. You don't want to be able just to have Halifax a hit roll behind the red, and then you're hooped. You have to start drawing in as Regina and leaving it open. So they're definitely going to try to put those guards up for sure.
I think they were hoping for that guard to be over just a bit more, but this still works.
Yeah. But it does introduce the run back for.
I don't know if it's there though, because I feel like that run back would hit their red stone.
But if you hit it nose, it hits that and spills both of them out quite well.
Yeah.
And that's what he immediately went for. Corey definitely saw that right away and was like, this is the shot. So he's got to hit it perfect. I'm not saying it's an easy shot, but I'm saying it's there.
You're saying it's an easy shot. You're saying you can do this with your eyes closed, right?
Absolutely not. There's a reason I'm not at this event, and that is part of that. Uh-oh, I think that's outside.
He's going to get a piece of it though.
Yeah.
So a guard remains.
Kind of just replaced a guard with a guard.
Yeah.
And,
So that just gives Regina keep doing what they're doing.
yep. I think they're going to try to place it higher, though, to eliminate
Yeah.
that run back, even if it's not curled enough kind of thing.
You just feel the tension building. You're starting to see more and more fans gathering around the windows here.
I know it's a nothingness game, but gee, it's just a battle. Just a frickin' battle over there.
Winnipeg and Halifax 2 tied up at 5 going into the 8th. Again, for those two games, Halifax 2, 1-4, Winnipeg 2-3. Both those teams eliminated.
Still a hell of a game happening there.
Big scrub here by Regina.
Doesn't look like it's going to get over enough.
But I think it's just enough. It doesn't really give you...
No, the
It
run
gets the
back's no
job done.
longer
Yeah,
there.
1,000%.
But I think they wanted it over a little more to cover. Oh, he's still thinking about it. Interesting. He went right to it, so he knows.
Final stone here in sheet D as Calgary tries to draw in to score at least one. That would extend their lead. They're up 3-2 over Vancouver. Nice shot here.
Does he make it?
Wow, gets
what a
it
shot.
out. A potential championship-saving
Point.
shot.
Yeah, for sure. We were talking about the Luigi hat yesterday. Did you see Corey has the Captain America belt on?
Oh, amazing.
Right.
Amazing. It's
All
the little
these-
things.
It's all the little things that make us
The
happy.
little things.
All the fun aspects of curling. I remember this was years ago. I think it was the team out of PEI. They made it to the Briar, and they all wore pajama pants when they curled. That was their thing. And so the Briar made them put black pants on.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they did is they put black pants over their pajama pants because it was so comfortable for them.
That's amazing. My goodness.
What a game this ended up being.
So, if Halifax wins this game over Regina, Halifax jumps into second place.
They leapfrog Regina.
Yeah, Regina suddenly slips out of the top two in Pool B.
And their ticket through does not look easy then,
No.
because they don't have the head-to-head against Halifax.
Yeah.
And they really need Halifax 1.
And they don't have the head-to-head against Calgary too.
No, they're on a
This
bad path
becomes
there.
very complicated situation for Regina.
It's not over yet, but just a biter there. Just on the top of the 12-foot. Definitely, there's a bit of strategy going on there. They might look to tap or something later, push one in to force Halifax to do something crazy, right? That's what you got to do to steal. You got to force a crazy shot to come out.
Like, I am so nervous watching this right now.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm more nervous for my game later.
Your teammate Anthony Falls is here.
Right?
He's excited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been excited all morning. He's been chipper on our text chat.
He's always chipper.
Right? He's great.
He's always
good
chipper.
vibes. All the good
Yeah.
vibes.
Anthony feels happy that we just mentioned his name on this live stream. So, Brad Ramsden all smiles too. I would be too after winning the 50-50 a couple days ago.
Right? Calgary 2 getting some points in D. I don't know if we talked about that.
Yep. So they're up 5-2 over Vancouver going into the 8th. So that would be a big, big situation for Calgary too. Because then remember they play Toronto too coming
Does
up.
Calgary have the head-to-head over Halifax? I believe so if they've only lost one. That's something we can look at later. We can look at that later.
I mean, we have time, so as we're doing this, I'm going to flip open my laptop. We'll see if we can get this started up in time.
Let's see. We got lots of time. Because if Calgary 2 does have the head-to-head over Halifax, that would almost surely solidify.
I think that almost guarantees them their spot. I think that would officially book their spot, no matter what happens.
Because even if both teams were to lose their games later, or Calgary were to lose and Halifax would win, they would still have the tiebreaker over them. But they could be that one loss. We don't know. We will find out. A hit coming in for Halifax here, hits their guard, and does the absolute worst thing for them. Knocks their 2 points out. Now Regina is a little thankful there to the Ice Gods.
And the drama intensifies here as we go into the skip stones. All right, so what we were looking at, Calgary 2?
Calgary 2 versus Halifax 1.
Calgary 2 beat Halifax 1 8-5.
Okay, so Calgary...
But they lost to Edmonton 1 8-1.
What in the world is happening? What in the world?
So we need to see what happens. But Toronto 2 is beating Edmonton 1 right now, so that may be a moot point.
Yeah. But still, what is happening? What happened in this game?
I know.
You could look over on the families' faces, and it wasn't a.
Well, you heard
happy
it. You
sight.
heard it right away. You could just hear the gasp.
Yeah.
So Dustin Kidby.
The chance here to kind of.
Again, the start of the skip stones here in the 8th and final end. Regina and Halifax 1. Regina 4-1. Halifax 1 3-2. Halifax needs this win to keep their championship hopes alive.
I mean, but don't forget, you only need a single here for either team.
100%.
Halifax just
and
needs a
Halifax has
single.
the hammers, so
Exactly.
that also gives them the advantage as well. So here's Dustin Kidby's first shot.
I think they're playing a tap because that's a little heavy for a draw, and it's definitely on their yellow.
I think that's exactly what they wanted because it gets
Yeah,
in behind the
exactly.
guard. Picture perfect shot.
If you're Corey, do you think you can make that run back double?
It's there, but at this point, you're also trying to think, what are you most comfortable with?
True. But the run back double, if you spill both, Regina's only sitting one, and they have to do something in order to get.
Well, they're going to try and run theirs back.
Which is also a decent play
Yeah.
too, because it's straight down the center.
Yeah.
And you have the line, and you have to hit it probably at about 11 o'clock, if not
So-
somewhere in between there and 12.
Yeah.
Precision shot for sure,
This is nerve-wracking.
right? Love it.
This
Love
is
it.
nerve-wracking.
Love it.
Corey Oickle, the first of his skip stones here in the 8th. Game tied at 7.
Trying to run his red back.
Regina sitting 3. So much pressure here.
Right? Right. So much pressure.
Catch a breath if you can. Here comes Oickle's first shot. Straight down the middle. Hoping for that run
I
back.
think the sweeper should be on it. Like all.
You
both
don't
of
want it to
them.
over curl.
I think he's got it.
Is it there?
Oh.
Not quite enough. So Regina still sits 3.
So if I'm Regina, I think I'm blocking the draw in this way on the rock, because if you leave it open and it could count, then Halifax has the easy, just use your backing and win. So I think they're going to
So-
try to stop that and force them to a draw on the other side where there's no information.
Oh,
What a game!
I am like literally, my palms are sweaty, knees weak,
I was going to go
arms
there.
are heavy.
Did you have some mom's spaghetti last night? Or something?
There's no vomit on my sweater already.
No.
It's just mom spaghetti.
No Marshall Mathers over here.
I'm such a nerd.
I love it. I was
Here we
going
go.
there too immediately.
Dustin Kidby, his final stone here in the 8th.
He's on his for sure. I think they're just trying to bump it and force an insane draw from.
And this is perfect.
You know what I think is there though? The same shot he just made. He has the information of what he needs to do.
But he has to stick around.
I think if
He has to stick around.
you just got to nose hit the yellow. Like that's all you got to
But-
do.
But you can't let it spill.
No, you can't.
And
I
that's
mean,
going to be the trick here.
I don't
with
think the
this
draw.
shot.
I don't think the draw from the other side is there though. That's the problem. You have to hit button.
The
and I don't think it's
biggest
there.
shot of this event for Corey Oickle. World champion dodgeball. Has a cat named Draco. Big Harry Potter fan, needs to work some magic to make this happen.
I mean, by the transitive properties, if you can dodge a rock, you should be able to dodge a ball. So, see
Here
what
we
we
go.
can do here.
Let's see what happens. The final shot of the 8th end.
You hear the screaming.
There it is.
There it is. See?
He
What
sticks
a-
around as
What a
Halifax
win.
hangs on for the win. 8-7. The final as Halifax improves to 4-2. Regina drops down to 4-2. We've got
What?
ourselves a logjam in Pool B.
What a game.
We've got ourselves a logjam in
I hope you
Pool
like
B.
math.
This is a wild turn of events. So we will be back later this afternoon,
Yep.
and we'll break down all the scenarios as best we can. You may need a pen and paper to keep up with us because it is going to be complicated in
Yeah.
Pool B.
Oh yeah, and I mean we'll update you on the other scores coming out of the other games here.
Of course.
But
So, Max Patrick, I'm Kevin Jesus. Thank you.
see you later.
We will wrap things up. You got to get ready for your spring fling bonspiel. Oh boy, this is going to be wild.
Right?
So
Yeah.
join us. Our feature game will be Saskatoon 2 versus Edmonton 2.
Edmonton 2 looking to play spoiler.
Looking to play spoilers. So thank you for tuning in. We'll be back later this afternoon.